My name is Silke. I represent the Danish organization Autisme and Aspergerforeningen. Autisme Aspergerforeningen. About it's welcome to the autistic organization community created by autistic people for autistic people, because it's so important to have it like this. I just remember that I maybe should give some information about Autisme Aspergerforeningen. It was started in 2002. It's fully autistic led, which means all board members are autistic, and all voting members at the General Assembly are also autistic. So every decision is autistic. We are also a member of UCAP with one person, myself, as a UCAP board member also. The first is understanding yourself and your rights. I think everyone can agree that self-understanding is so important to be able to learn and realize what are positive and negative about yourself, because you need to understand to know what it means to be autistic and not be every time wrong, especially as late diagnosed, because you have lived a life as a hidden autistic, and you have to learn to actively be able to learn how to be yourself, because too much masking is never working for anyone. So, and the next point then is learning to be aware of which rights do you have and what you can do. It's the first step to be able to advocate, both for yourself and for others in the second place. And Autisme Aspergerforeningen is trying to provide different spaces to encourage, to explore both your autistic self and your rights. And they're trying to do it typically mostly in local levels, which also will lead to more understanding and more possibilities on national level, and maybe also in other ways to do it. We have different ways of communities and meeting spaces. We try to provide and create spaces for autistic communities, and clearly also defining that it's important that we can be with others. The first one are peer groups, which are different. We have at the moment 3 types: peer groups, network groups, and pop-up groups. The first are peer groups. Local meeting groups with regular meeting schedule. Typically, they are once a month. We're trying to do it, but it's also, the question is, we had some which were more often, more regular, but then you have the problem that you maybe burn out your volunteers. So there's always a balance between the need of meetings and peer support for each other, and how many you can expect from a volunteer to do. The most places are autistic only, to ensure safe spaces for discussions. Because as soon as you have a parent or a carer within the group, you not feel so safe to speak more openly about each other. The rules are clear. I think in the peer group should, in the first place, handle it discreetly, so that you're not, though there is a privacy about it. So you can speak openly, but you should not, things you know from there should not be shared outside unless you have consent to use it somewhere else. so that you can feel safe to speak about your personal experiences. If we can find funding, or the lucky situation that lecturers offering special discounts to give lectures, then we can have subjects on lectures on sensory issues, or before we had sometimes also going through the different different systems of paragraphs which could be used. And for the lectures that we will be a little bit more open, that others can learn about it more. But for the discussion about your own experience and strategies, there we only want to have autistic people themselves, so they have a chance to really have an open discussion about the experiences and strategies, because only then you have the chance of autistic people opening up and have the possibility to mirror each other in a better way, in my opinion. The point is, of course, you also need volunteers, and you need someone local who is able to plan lectures, subjects, and having the regular contact with a meeting space, finding meeting spaces. So you need someone locally who knows the feeling in the group and have an idea which subjects could be relevant for my crowd, because it's different from time to time. And yes, it can be in first place a little bit difficult to find coordinators. The organization helps every time with funding and funding applications, so they will always try to look up if there is existing some possibility for local funding, and will also help because the longer we come, the more we can see that funding applications, you need an organization behind it. Even if you have found 10 people to have a peer group, you still need an organization behind to look for the funding, because funding is only given to the organization and applications getting more and more complex. And there, the board clearly says, okay, if you say you have someone for the practical, then they will help to find funding, and if the local funding is not good, they try to look into other possibilities to do things, which can help a lot about it. So then we have the network groups. It's a little bit less formal. There's actively okay. One more thing to the peer groups. Peer groups are open to everybody, to every autistic member or not. But due to we need to look into funding, as a non-member, you maybe have to pay a little amount for if we are offering tea and everything else. Network groups, we say, okay, we organize for our members. There can be exchanges locally or online or only on specific subjects. And of course, then only autistic only and only for members. And they need a little bit less because you have not so much planning involved. You need a facilitator who has a contact with the spaces and can open up and so on. But it's a little bit less. So if you do not feel as comfortable to say, okay, I can be a coordinator for a peer group, maybe you can facilitate a network group. And at some point, someone else says, okay, we are 2 or 3 about it, and maybe we should have a peer group there. And so therefore, it's a little bit easier to handle a network group. And then the organization decided to apply for a project. They called it pop-up Möglichkeiten, so pop-up groups. The project to explore opportunities to find more network or network groups. So it's simply to show how, because if you say to an autistic person, oh yeah, would you be interested to facilitate a network group or coordinate a peer group? Yeah. What does it mean? There is the point that you have not necessarily the imagination. What does it mean? So actively bringing a peer group for a meeting or two to a new location to show them this what it mean to be a peer group. And these things you will need to be a coordinator, actively showing it to the communities and to the autistic people. What does it mean? Is it something which we really need? So you have the possibility to help them to understand what it means. On the other side, also to see, have a feeling, okay, maybe there are existing some official local initiatives. So they have, that doesn't make sense to have a peer group if they are good covered by other projects. Then you have not enough people who would be interested in it, or if you cannot find anybody in the area who will say, I could have the capacity for facilitating or volunteering, then it doesn't make sense to look into how I could finance this this place. It doesn't make sense in this place. So or looking into online if we have something to do it. So and in the end, it was quite interesting. It helps to find places. It helps to see what's going on, what's changing on it. So I have to say, surprised myself when I looked at how many places there actually were, because if I be honest, before Corona time, I think we had Aarhus, Odense, and then we had something in Copenhagen, and I think we had an Aalborg. So we had the 4 biggest cities and nothing else. And the biggest change in this point was really that due to Corona we lost our volunteers in the area, so we're trying to push it again. But we can see that there are a lot of people who are actively trying to look into. So we got new places with people who are interested to do more into it, and seeing where we try to pop up meeting places. I would say, I think Südwest, for example, the Southwest room, actually they started as a public group, and then there were people there. Oh, yeah, I would like to do more into this. So it's one of the places where it actually happened that we had the chance to create a peer group out of a pop-up group, which, in my opinion, is an important way how we can give opportunities to share our understanding. And of course, if there come up questions, there's a chance that someone else knows how to handle it, and in the local level, how to get help, where have to look, because the problem is there are existing some paragraphs officially, but how they get interpreted and under which part of the municipality they are offered to autistic people, if you can find some, is very different. So starting with, how can I get help? Because if I'm a mess and I need help and I don't get the help, I have no chance to come any further. And on the other hand, okay, understanding why on earth I'm so why I cannot cope to go shopping in this way, and getting simply other things. Okay, I'm doing it like this, so maybe I normally go in the early morning and understand it's not so noisy, or I trying this practically helps us all to understand each other and giving the sense of it, because only when we have some chance we can find the capacity to do more in other ways for each other. So this is simply something where I can see that it makes a lot of sense to have the meeting places, and to see that a good part of the country is covered by local groups, so you have not too long tour group, because I remember that some people from drove about 50 to 100 kilometers to come to a meeting place because there was no one near them, and not everyone has this capacity. And in some meeting places, if they have the capacity or have a small lecture, they're trying to offering as a hybrid meeting, so you can participate even if you're not able to come to the meeting places. So trying to have also hybrid opportunities in some cases can help, but for online groups, you also need someone who would be willing to be full-time online facilitator or coordinator. And it can be difficult sometimes to find the people. So we are trying to look into it and try to look into more. I know it's a little bit less, a little bit more. I think I'm taking on the next part and trying to put a little bit into it. Knowledge for life. It was a little bit question why you're using this just as a slogan. I borrowed actually the slogan from our conference. I will explain a little bit later when I come to the conference. But what does it mean? Why I say knowledge for life? Knowledge is important for autistic life. It's empowering. We need to have understanding, respect, and accept. We need to understand ourselves. We need to accept ourselves. And we also need that other people understanding, respecting, and accepting us. And knowledge is the only way to fight misinterpretations, as we see in much bigger scale at the moment, to say it nicely. And of course, the knowledge of positive ways increase the quality of life, because if you get knowledge, okay, here are possibilities you can treat, or you can use. Of course, the way of accepting a people and understanding an autistic person, or the knowledge of ABA. Those are existing. And then it's important for us to clearly show we want a positive way and not the other one. So showing alternatives to things, okay, yeah, this can work. No, this doesn't work. We need this way to be. We need the knowledge to do it. So it's increasing the quality of life. This is the point which is very important, because we do not necessarily want a lot of knowledge about what can be the possible sources of it. We want to have practical knowledge. How can you actively increase our quality of life? By accepting us, by giving us a space, by giving us a chance to express ourselves. And, for example, not expect that I have to give an answer here now. I have the chance to think about it, and I have a chance to give my opinion, and a week later, if this is a possibility. And yes, if I'm in a situation where I'm overstressed, give me fucking space. You're reading about it, of course. I can fully understand why you're doing it, but when we need to have it, because not everyone understands what it means. And yes, something like, oh, you look grumpy. No, it's just my normal face. And this is points people who want to interact with us, or have to interact as they have chosen a job which involves it. For them, it's important that they understand how we are. And of course, it's also important that we understand what it does mean. So if if I feel confident enough to be around with my normal grumpy face and get not judged, then it makes it easier for me. So we have the autistic side. I said autistic, you're all of life. Autistic, you are autistic for all your life. Maybe you're fine for later, but it's for life. Autistic is for life. It's not cure. You will be autistic, even you have not get the diagnosis, and you will be the autistic for the rest of your life, which include that we also need to find and understand more knowledge for autistic seniors at some point, which is hard to find, and starting with these projects. And of course, if you have to understanding yourself, knowledge of how to understand yourself empowers to be your better well-being. Because first, when you understand what triggers me, you need to understand why it's happening sometimes to be able to have a better self-care. If we are saying here, okay, we are sitting all here, we're trying to do everything, and yes, we will have a breakdown at least when we come home at some point. We have to understand that, yes, of course, it's taking a lot more energy than you maybe have to do these things. And I cannot do it every time. And maybe I'm not the best myself in self-care, but I know the costs, and I should be able to, I need to learn to say no sometimes, or on the other hand, calculate in. Okay, so I see people starting to understand themselves and then think, okay, I have committed to this thing. I have committed to a one-day meeting with some people, which can be hard. I need to have a day before and a day after to relax. I cannot do everything at once. I can do it, but I need this and this to be self-care. But you can only do better self-care and get better well-being by understanding yourself. The next is knowledge of human and legal rights. To be able to ask for help and to be able maybe to get the help. Because even if you know where to apply for help, you may be still in the situation that you get denied in the first place and need to appeal to get to have a chance to get right. Because the understanding of what does it mean to be in a way we are with our functioning level fluctuating over time and everything else is not necessarily something which is understandable for everyone. But this is something we have to learn for ourselves. For if you're looking into knowledge life, what does it mean for professionals matters? The insight how to support autistic people, to ensure and improve autistic well-being. The acknowledgement and respect for different experience of autistic people. If you know one autistic people, you will know fucking one autistic person. And yes, some things can in some kind be transferred, but it's nothing you should assume that everyone has the same needs or the same difficulties. And in some perspective, it's even the different experience of autistic people over time is something which we still have. So it's something about also, it's not only from person to person, it's also from situation to situation. And of course, as a professional, or in some cases also as a relative, you also need to have knowledge of all the possible rights a person should have. Because only then you can, as a relative, fight for the autistic person, or as a professional, able to advise in the right way. Because we are standing in a situation that you have new people, oh, you should go there and there. that you get pushed between different authorities because no one knows or don't want to know what your right is something which is not in a nice way working for a lot of things. So next, yeah. Knowledge is a power that can enable active engagement. Give the potential for self-advocacy. And on the other hand, knowledge, respect, and it says, makes good allies. You cannot expect from an ally if you cannot provide some knowledge for them. If they don't have the knowledge because they have not learned it, otherwise they can't be a good ally out of it. Oh, yeah. So, welcome to Alcon, an autistic conference. In the background, you can see some very nice pictures, and the point is the reason why they called it Knowledge for Life, because the conference is held at a former prison. So the point is, the first advertisement for the conference was, you are sentenced to knowledge for life. It's a little bit of a joke, but in a lot of points, it's a good version to do it. It's out of the location, but I think in this case, because it gives the opportunity to have practical knowledge and tools of understanding how to work with people. Whether you're relative, a professional relative, or yourself autistic. We offer presentations that give knowledge that you can unlock the potential in your everyday life. This is, I just translated some of the keywords how to advertise the conference. So you have lectures about what does it mean to about sensory issues, or what else we have? Do we have simply what you need to be aware when you're working with autistic persons? So it's balanced. There are some autistic speakers and some allies, because sometimes you need to have some professionals to give lectures that other professionals will hear over them. But then it's a good idea to use active allies to educate others. And these are the ways where we try to do it in a good way, to show what opportunities can we give, what chances can we give in different ways to show what we do. I decided not to have any pictures of lectures due to different rules, but this is simply the conference stand where we try to show the registration disc with every information and everything else. So yeah, this is one of the many pictures I really like. Remember autistic people mask. I hope you can see what it says. It's simply a fish with a shark fin on top. Yeah. If you're swimming with sharks, you need a shark. You need a shark fin, but you're still only a fish. Yeah. So there are things how to show what it means to do, and there because I can show some of the postcards afterwards if there is interest on it. So simply different things what we can do or not do. And knowledge for life materials. We have folders. As you can see here, we have a lot of different folders and schemes and so on. What we have there is on different topics. We have one on the peer group. We have a small one on masking. We have on different forms of communications. And then you have the dialogue schemes, checklists, where you're simply, okay, how do I describe my difficulties? If I have a checklist with 15 options which are the most common ones. And you can check, okay, I'm oversensitive in hearing, though I cannot do it in loud environments. I'm not doing this. This is right for me. And if you're reading through everything, you maybe come on something specific you can write in for your own. But if you need to describe yourself, in the first place, you're often quite blank. So it helps to have schemes and checklists to easier define what you need in this case. I think they did one specific for birthdays or for Christmas, just to say, okay, what do I need? I need a timetable. I need this. I would like to have these. Or yeah, of course, I would prefer to have the chance to pack my presents not in front of anyone else. Some love it because then some others say, oh, I would pack it out for myself because then I have not the presses and everyone waits if I like it or not at once. This can be possibilities to show more of the things, how to define and look into different things. One picture simply, if you're newly diagnosed, it's a subpage of our website where we say newly diagnosed with autism. Here you can start with some folders, for example, welcome to the spectrum, communication, masking, the many phases of autism, and meeting others at peer groups, or also very important for a lot of people, autism and work. If you are still work, if you try to work, those what is important for us, what can we give our employers, which ways we can do. The normal folder size, it's a sphere and just put in this size. So the typical folder size is like this. So you have not very much text, but it's a good starting point how to do it and how much we can do into it. So yeah. Oh yeah. So I have one more slide. I'm not so good on timing, and I can see I maybe have not so much, but I can still have some questions afterwards. So the last one is practical knowledge for life. How to better understand the situation. How to give space, both short term to reduce conflict, and the long term to allow us to develop. And knowledge to help us to be able to have better and longer life. There are a lot of things into it. There for the conference they have a award, but I was unsure on the hybrid area if I should talk about it or not, because it will automatically go into possibly triggering areas which I didn't want necessarily to have in the type of meeting, as the person who is honored on the prize decided to take suicide as a result of a lot of things, and therefore I was not sure if I should necessarily go fully into it. So it can be triggering, therefore I decided not to have it in the lecture. Even though it's very important, the prize itself is given to autism researchers who try to understand and foster well-being, which is a right way of doing it. So autistic research which gives focus on comorbidities or possibilities of better life.